You're 55 years old. You look at your retirement account and see barely anything. Maybe $20,000. Maybe less. Maybe nothing at all.
And the voice in your head says, "It's over. I waited too long.
I'm going to work until I die." I want you to stop right there, because that voice is wrong. In the next 8 minutes, I'll show you why. And exactly what to do next.
If you're 50, 55, even 60, and your savings feel nowhere close to enough, this video is for you. Here's a truth nobody says out loud.
You are not alone. Not even close. The median retirement savings for households aged 55 to 64 is only about $185,000. That's the median Touritic. Half of everyone in that age group has even less.
So if you're behind, you're not the exception. You're the majority. And the majority still retires. Let's talk about how.
First, let's kill the myth that's scaring you.
You've seen headlines saying you need $1 million, even $3 million to retire.
Those numbers are designed to get clicks, not to describe your life.
Your number depends on 3 things only.
Your monthly expenses. What Social Security pays you. How many years it needs to last.
For most people, Social Security covers 30 to 40% of retirement income.
That means your savings don't have to do all the work.
They just have to fill the gap. And that gap is smaller than you think.
Think about it this way. Your monthly expenses are around $4,000.
Social Security covers $2,200 of that. You're not solving for $4,000 a month. You're solving for $1,800. That single shift changes everything.
From the total to the gap. That's the difference between panic and a plan. Here's something most people your age don't know.
The government built a system specifically to help you catch up. If you're 50 or older, you can contribute extra to your 401. It's called a catch-up contribution. In 2026, that extra amount is $8,000. It's called a catch-up contribution. In 2026, that extra amount is $8,000.
That brings your total possible contribution to $32,500 a year.
If you're between 60 and 63, there's an even bigger version. It's called the Super Catch-Up, up to $11,250 extra a year.
That's a total of $35,750 a year. Most people never touch this.
If you have an IRA instead, you can add an extra $1,100 on top of the standard $7,500 limit. Most people never use this either.
But if you're serious about closing the gap in the next 10 years, this is the single most powerful tool available to you.
It's guaranteed, tax-advantaged growth, built specifically for people starting late.
One more thing worth knowing. If you earned over $145,000 last year,
new rules in 2026 require your catch-up contributions to go into a Roth account.
That's not necessarily bad. Roth money grows and comes out tax-free later.
But it does change how you plan your monthly budget around it. Let's do real numbers now, not vague reassurance. Say you're 55, and you start putting away $1,500 a month.
Using those catch-up limits, in an account earning 7% a year.
By 65, that's not just $180,000 in contributions.
With growth, that becomes roughly $260,000 to $280,000.
Combine that with Social Security, maybe a paid-off house, maybe part-time work.
Suddenly, almost no savings at 55 becomes a real, livable plan by 65.
Now let's look at someone starting even later. Say you're 58, and you can only manage $800 a month. Over 7 years, with the same 7% average growth,
that still grows to roughly $85,000 to $95,000. It's not the same as starting at 55, but it's also not nothing. It's the difference between zero cushion and a real financial buffer.
The math doesn't care that you started late.
It only cares what you do starting today.
Here's exactly where to start. Move 1. Calculate your real number.
Not the headline number, Tade. Your actual expenses minus what Social Security covers.
That's the gap you're actually solving for.
Move 2. Max out your catch-up contributions, even partially.
Every extra dollar right now is doing double duty, growing tax-advantaged, and shrinking the years you'll need to work.
Move 3. Look honestly at your retirement age.
Working 2 or 3 years longer doesn't just add savings. It also shortens how many years your money needs to last.
And often increases your Social Security payout. That combination changes everything.
Here's a fourth move people forget. Cut one unnecessary recurring expense this month.
A subscription, a service you don't use. Redirect that exact amount into savings.
It sounds small, but small automatic moves survive real life better than big plans.
None of this requires you to have done everything right for 30 years.
It only requires you to start now. The most damaging thing about being behind isn't the number in your account.
It's the story you tell yourself about it. It's too late is a decision, not a fact. People in their 50s and 60s have rebuilt retirement plans from almost nothing.
Not through some secret trick, Bo, through consistency.
Catch-up contributions. A realistic budget. Maybe a few extra working years. The households that end up fine aren't the ones who never fell behind.
They're the ones who stopped panicking and started calculating.
I've talked to people who avoided their own account statements for 2 years.
Because looking felt worse than not knowing. But every month you avoid it is a month you're not catching up.
The fear costs more than the bad news ever would.
So if you're 55 and your savings feel embarrassingly small,
You're not failing. You're at the starting line of the most important decade.
Use the catch-up rules. Know your real number.
Make the next 10 years count more than the last 30.
if this helped you, subscribe. Every week I break down what people over 50 need to know.
No jargon, no fear-mongering, a pain. Just the real numbers.
Tell me in the comments, how much have you saved, and at what age did you start taking it seriously? I read every one. See you in the next one.